The Deep Space Monitoring Station on Europa detected the signal first. It was faint, barely distinguishable from the cosmic background radiation, but it was regular. Too regular to be natural. Captain Song Min watched the data stream across her tablet as she stood in the command center of the HMS Leviathan. At 3 kilometers long, the warship was humanity's greatest achievement and its most terrifying weapon. Built during the Solar System Wars as the ultimate deterrent, the massive vessel had never actually engaged in combat. "How long has the signal been broadcasting?" Min asked, her eyes not leaving the screen. Officer Han looked up from his console. 18 days, Captain. It started suddenly and hasn't changed its pattern. The command center hummed with quiet activity. Though the ship was designed for a crew of 5,000, it currently held only 2,000 of Earth's finest. The rest of the space had been filled with scientific equipment and diplomatic supplies, hopeful additions for humanity's first mission beyond the solar system. "And we're certain it's artificial?" Min asked. "Yes, Captain," said Dr. Bei Jin, the ship's lead xenolinguist. Dr. Bei was small in stature but commanded respect with his brilliant mind. "The signal repeats exactly every 42.7 minutes. It contains what we believe are mathematical constants: pi, the square root of 2, the fine structure constant." "They're saying hello," Officer Han suggested, "or warning us to stay away," added Security Chief Park, always the cautious one. Min nodded slowly. After 20 years in Earth's United Space Force, she had learned to consider all possibilities. "Where exactly is it coming from?" "Just beyond the Kuiper Belt," said Navigation Officer Kim, "at the edge of our solar system." Min stood straighter. No human had ever ventured so far. The journey would take months, even with the Leviathan's revolutionary fusion drive. "The Defense Council is waiting for your decision, Captain," said her first officer, Commander Rhee. "The public doesn't know about the signal yet." Min walked to the large viewport that showed the curve of Earth below. The Leviathan was currently docked at the orbital shipyard where it had been built. From up here, Earth looked peaceful, the scars of the Solar System Wars invisible from this distance. "Who else knows about this signal?" she asked. "Just the highest levels of government and military," Commander Rhee replied. "They want this handled carefully." Min turned back to face her crew. "Assemble the senior staff in the briefing room and contact Engineer Yoon. I want to know if the fusion drive can get us there faster than the projected 3 months." In the briefing room, opinions were divided. "This could be the greatest moment in human history," Dr. Bei said excitedly. "First contact with an alien intelligence, or the beginning of an invasion," Security Chief Park countered. "We need to approach this with extreme caution." "The Leviathan was built to protect Earth," Commander Rhee reminded everyone. "If there is a threat, we're the best equipped to face it." Captain Min listened to all viewpoints before speaking. "Whatever awaits us, we will be ready. Dr. Bei, continue working on the signal. See if you can learn anything else from it. Chief Park, I want security protocols reviewed and updated. Commander Rhee, begin crew selection. Only the best." "And you, Captain?" asked Officer Han. "I'll inform the Defense Council we're accepting the mission." The next week passed in a blur of preparation. While Engineer Yoon fine-tuned the massive fusion engines, Dr. Bei made a breakthrough with the alien signal. "Captain, look at this," he said, projecting a series of images. "When we arrange the signal data visually instead of listening to it, we get these." The images showed simple geometric shapes, what looked like a solar system with 9 planets, and finally, a rough diagram of what might be a spaceship. "They're telling us about themselves," Min said quietly. "Yes. And I think they're inviting us to meet them." Captain Min made her decision. "Send a response. Use the same mathematical language. Tell them we're coming." Launch day arrived with little fanfare. The mission was still classified, known only to those with the highest clearances. As far as the public knew, the Leviathan was embarking on a routine patrol of the outer planets. Captain Min stood on the bridge as final preparations were completed. "All systems green," reported Engineer Yoon. "Fusion drive ready for sustained burn. All crew aboard and accounted for." added Commander Ree. Min took a deep breath. Navigation. Set course for the signal origin. Communications. Continue broadcasting our response message. Let's show whoever is out there that humanity comes, in peace but is prepared for anything. The great engines of the Leviathan flared to life, pushing the massive warship away from Earth. As the blue planet shrank in the viewport, Min couldn't help but wonder what they would find at journey's end, and whether the ship built for war would become an instrument of peace. 1 month into their journey, the Leviathan moved through the darkness of space faster than any human vessel before it. The stars streaked by on the main view screen, as Engineer Yoon's modifications to the fusion drive pushed the massive warship to its limits. Captain Min sat in her quarters, reviewing the latest signal data. The alien transmissions had grown stronger as they approached and now included new patterns that Dr. Bay and his team worked day and night to decode. A chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she called. Commander Ree stepped inside, looking tired. Like most of the crew, he had been working extra shifts as they prepared for the unknown. "The crew is on edge, Captain," he reported, sitting across from her. "Everyone knows what we might be facing." Min nodded. "It's hard to blame them. Humanity has wondered about alien life for centuries, and now we might be days away from meeting it. Security Chief Park has been running combat drills 3 times daily," Ree said with a slight frown. "Dr. Bay thinks it sends the wrong message to have our first action be raising shields." Min sighed. This argument had been ongoing since they left Earth orbit. "And what do you think, Commander?" "I think we need both approaches. The Leviathan was built to protect Earth, but this mission requires diplomacy we never trained for." A message flashed on Min's tablet. "Dr. Bay wants us in the linguistics lab, says it's urgent." The linguistics lab was crowded with specialists. When Min and Ree arrived, Dr. Bay's eyes were bright with excitement despite the dark circles beneath them. "We've made a breakthrough," he announced. "The new transmissions contain more than mathematics. They're sending us images, representations of themselves." He gestured to a large screen where his team had reconstructed a blurry image. The shape was unlike anything Min had seen, not humanoid, with multiple limbs and what appeared to be an exoskeleton. "How certain are you of this reconstruction?" Min asked. 80% confident, Dr. Bay replied. "They're definitely not human-shaped. But look at this." He switched to another image showing what appeared to be a star map. "They're telling us exactly where to meet them," he said. "It's not where we thought. It's a bit farther out. A small solar system with no planets." Security Chief Park stepped forward. "It could be a trap. They're luring us to a location of their choosing." Dr. Bay shook his head. "I don't think so. The transmission also contains what I believe are peaceful intentions. Look at these patterns. They match universal symbols of harmony we've detected in other parts of the message." Min studied both men's faces, one hopeful, one suspicious. Both had valid points. "Adjust our course to the new coordinates," she decided, "but increase our scanning range. I want to know what's waiting for us long before we arrive." 2 weeks. Later, Officer Han called out from his station on the bridge. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings ahead." Min moved quickly to his console. "Source?" "Unknown, but they're massive. Whatever's generating them is using technology far beyond ours." Min turned to Navigation Officer Kim. "Time to arrival?" "At current speed, 3 days." The bridge grew quiet as everyone processed this information. They were about to make contact with beings who could produce energy signatures that human science couldn't identify. "Message from Dr. Bay," Communications Officer Lee announced. "He says the alien transmissions have changed again. They're coming more frequently now." Security Chief Park approached Min. "Captain, I recommend we bring all weapon systems online." Min considered this. "Power up defensive systems only. Shields, point defense networks. Nothing that could be interpreted as aggression." "Captain," Officer Han called out again, his voice different now. "New sensor readings. There are ships at the meeting point." "How many?" Min asked. 3 vessels. Smaller than the Leviathan, but their energy outputs are off the charts. The view screen shifted to show long-range sensor data. 3 sleek vessels moved in perfect formation, their design unlike any human craft. They were smooth, almost organic in appearance. "They're scanning us," Officer Han reported. "Very detailed scans. They're mapping our entire ship." Security Chief, Park stiffened. "Including our weapons systems." "Let them look," Min said calmly. "We have nothing to hide." Dr. Bay burst onto the bridge, tablet in hand. "Captain, I've decoded more of their language. They call themselves the Han Collective. They've been watching Earth for decades, picking up our broadcasts. That's how they learned our languages." Min processed this revelation. They had been observed for years without knowing it. "They're sending a new transmission," Communications Officer Lee announced. It's in English." The message appeared on the main screen, simple and direct. "Greetings, Earthship Leviathan. We await peaceful meeting. Approach with care, stellar conditions unstable." Min looked around at her crew, their faces showing a mix of wonder and apprehension. "Send a response," she ordered. "Tell them we come in peace and look forward to meeting them. Navigation, continue on course 1/4 speed. Let's not rush into history." The Leviathan slowed as it approached the coordinates where the 3 alien vessels waited. Through the main view screen, Captain Min studied the Han ships. They were smaller than the massive human warship, but moved with incredible precision, maintaining perfect formation as they circled a point in empty space. "They're beautiful," whispered Officer Lee, voicing what many on the bridge were thinking. The alien vessels had smooth, curved hulls that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. They resembled nothing so much as giant water droplets suspended in space with no visible engines or weapon systems. "Are they responding to our messages?" Min asked. Communications Officer Lee nodded. "Yes, Captain. They've acknowledged our approach and have invited us to match their position." Security Chief Park stood rigidly beside the weapons console. "I still recommend caution, Captain. Their technology is clearly far advanced beyond ours." "Noted," Min replied. "But we will proceed as planned. Bring us alongside at a respectful distance." The bridge crew worked efficiently as the enormous human warship, built for intimidation as much as battle, slowly positioned itself near the 3 alien vessels. The size difference was striking. The Leviathan dwarfed the Han ships, yet somehow appeared less elegant, more brutish by comparison. "Captain," Officer Lee called out, "they're requesting visual communication." Min straightened her uniform. On screen. The view screen shifted, and the bridge crew collectively held their breath. The being that appeared had 6 limbs and a hard exoskeleton that gleamed under the lights of what appeared to be a control room. Its head featured compound eyes that shifted colors slightly as it moved, and smaller appendages near what might be a mouth clicked together occasionally. Yet despite its alien appearance, the being's posture conveyed a clear intelligence and purpose that transcended species boundaries. "Greetings, Captain Min of Earth Vessel Leviathan," the alien said in perfect, slightly accented English. "I am Coordinator Yu of the Han Collective. We welcome you to this neutral space." Min stepped forward. "Greetings, Coordinator Yu. On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we thank you for this historic opportunity. We come with peaceful intentions and hope for friendship between our peoples." The alien's upper limbs moved in what might have been a gesture of acknowledgement. "Your journey has been long. We have studied your species for many years through your broadcast transmissions. You are the first to reach this far into space." Dr. Bay couldn't contain himself. "You've been watching us? Learning our languages?" "Yes," Coordinator Yu replied. "We observe all developing spacefaring species. It is our way to understand before making contact." Min noticed that the alien's eyes kept shifting to different parts of the bridge, lingering on the weapons stations and security personnel. "Your vessel is unexpected," Yu continued. "We have encountered 17 species during their first ventures beyond their solar systems. None arrived in a warship of such size." Security Chief Park tensed at these words, but Min kept her composure. "The Leviathan was built during a difficult time in our history," she explained. It represents our past as much as our present. We hope it will now serve as a vessel of peace and discovery." The alien's mandibles clicked rapidly, perhaps their version of contemplation. "We understand conflict. All species face it on their path to the stars. But your kind is unique in how quickly you moved from planetary warfare to space exploration." "Is that good or bad?" Commander Ree asked. "It is neither. It is simply observed," Yu replied. "But it does explain much about your transmissions and cultural artifacts." The conversation continued for several minutes, with Dr. Bay asking questions about the Han Collective and their civilization. They learned the Han comprised 3 distinct subspecies who had evolved on the same planet, eventually forming a unified society that had explored the galaxy for thousands of years. "We would like to invite a delegation from your vessel to visit our command ship," Coordinator Yu finally offered, "to continue our discussion in person." Before Min could respond, alarm klaxons blared across both the human and alien vessels. "Captain," called out Officer Han from the sensor station. "Massive gravitational disturbance detected in a nearby system." On a secondary screen, data streamed in showing a neutron star exhibiting signs of imminent collapse. Coordinator Yu's posture changed dramatically, limbs moving in what appeared to be agitation. "The unstable stellar conditions we mentioned, they have worsened far faster than predicted." "Is there a problem?" Min asked. "The system contains Outpost Sil, a Han colony with 3,000 of our people," Yu explained urgently. "The shockwave from the neutron star collapse will destroy the outpost within hours. Our evacuation ships are already en route, but they will not be sufficient." Min didn't hesitate. "Coordinator Yu, the Leviathan was built to protect. Allow us to assist in your evacuation efforts." The alien's compound eyes seemed to focus intently on Min. "You would risk your first contact mission for this?" "Of course," Min replied simply. "That's what neighbors do." After a moment of silence, Yu's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Captain Min, it seems we have much to learn from each other after all. We gratefully accept your assistance." Commander Ree was already issuing orders to prepare for emergency operations, as Min nodded to Navigation Officer Kim. "Set course for the Han colony. Maximum speed." The journey to understand each other would have to wait. First, there were lives to save. Retry Seth the Leviathan dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the unstable neutron star, its massive hull shuddering slightly from the gravitational forces already beginning to distort space around them. Through the view screen, Captain Min could see the small rocky planet where the Han colony was located. Several small Han vessels darted around it like worried insects. "Status report," Min ordered, her voice steady despite the tension filling the bridge. "Neutron star collapse accelerating," Officer Han reported from the science station. "Estimated time to critical failure, 3 hours 42 minutes. Han evacuation ships are already at work," added Officer Lee. "But they're small. At current evacuation rates, they'll only save about 40% of the colonists." Commander Ree looked grim. "Not enough time." A communication alert sounded, and Coordinator Yu's image appeared on screen. In the background, Min could see other Han moving rapidly through what appeared to be their ship's control center. "Captain Min," Yu greeted her, mandibles clicking rapidly in what they now recognized as stress. "We appreciate your arrival. The situation is worse than anticipated. Our colony ships were not designed for rapid evacuation." "How many people remain on the surface?" Min asked. 2,117, Yu replied precisely. "Our vessels can transport perhaps 800 more before the gravitational shear becomes too dangerous for approach." Min turned to Engineer Yoon. "Our shuttle capacity? With emergency protocols? Maybe 300, Captain. Our shuttles are built for durability, not passenger transport." Min made a quick calculation. That still left over 1,000 Han colonists with no hope of escape. She studied the massive ship around her, built for war but never having fired. "A shot in anger, Engineer Yoon," she said slowly, an idea forming. "The Leviathan's hull is designed to withstand nuclear strikes in vacuum. What about our cargo bays? The vehicle hangars? The secondary weapons compartments?" Yoon's eyes widened as he understood what she was suggesting. We could convert them for temporary life support. It wouldn't be comfortable, but it would work, Min finished. How many could we hold? Yoon calculated quickly. If we repurpose all non-essential spaces, at least 1,500, maybe more. Security Chief Park stepped forward. Captain, I must object. To convert our weapons bays would leave us defenseless if what, Chief Park? Min interrupted. If the people we're trying to save suddenly attack us, they're fighting for their lives. She turned back to the screen. Coordinator Yu, the Leviathan can accommodate all your remaining colonists. We'll need to convert several internal spaces for life support, including some of our defense systems. The alien's compound eyes seemed to widen, colors shifting rapidly. You would render your warship vulnerable to save our people? Yes, Min said simply. We would. After a brief pause, Yu's posture changed subtly. We accept your offer with gratitude. I will send engineers to assist with any adaptations needed. For our physiology, Min nodded to her crew. Make it happen. The next 2 hours passed in organized chaos. The Leviathan's massive cargo bays and vehicle hangars were quickly converted into temporary shelters. Atmosphere scrubbers were rerouted, emergency rations prepared, and medical stations established. Engineer Yoon worked miracles alongside Han, technicians creating compatible life support for beings with completely different biological needs. Meanwhile, the neutron star's collapse accelerated. Gravitational waves began to distort space around them with increasing intensity. First wave of Han shuttles approaching our main hangar, reported Officer Lee. Min watched on the internal monitors as the first alien refugees entered the Leviathan. The Han colonists moved with the efficiency of a species used to crisis, though many carried what appeared to be personal belongings or scientific equipment. Radiation levels rising, warned Officer Han. The star's decay is accelerating beyond predicted models. As the evacuation continued, the space around them grew increasingly treacherous. Han shuttles struggled against growing gravitational distortions to reach the Leviathan's open hangar bays. Han Evacuation Control reports 1,000 colonists successfully transferred, announced Commander Rhee. 800 still on the surface. Min nodded. They were making progress, but time was running out. A violent shudder ran through the ship. What was that? Min demanded. Gravitational wave, explained Officer Han. They're getting stronger. Our position is becoming unstable. On the main screen, Min could see that the Han evacuation ships were struggling more with each trip. One small vessel pitched dangerously as it fought against invisible forces to reach the colony. Final evacuation groups loading now, reported Officer Lee. All remaining colonists accounted for except... Wait. His expression changed. Han command ship reports their largest evacuation vessel has lost engine power. It's being pulled back, toward the neutron star. The view screen showed the stricken Han ship, far larger than their shuttles, drifting helplessly as the increasing gravity pulled it inexorably toward destruction. Over 400 colonists were aboard. Can we get a tractor beam on them? Min asked. Engineer Yoon shook his head. Too much interference from the neutron star. Our conventional systems can't establish a lock. Min refused to accept defeat. There must be something we can do. Engineer Yoon hesitated, then spoke quickly. The electromagnetic shield system. It wasn't designed for this, but if we reconfigure it to create a stable corridor through the gravitational distortion, would it work? Min asked. Theoretically. But it would drain our power reserves, leaving us vulnerable if we can't restore them before the star's final collapse. Min didn't hesitate. Do it. The engineer rushed to implement his plan. Minutes later, the Leviathan's massive war-built systems, designed to protect it from nuclear assault, generated a stable path through the chaos of twisted space. The disabled Han vessel limped through this protected corridor toward safety. Just as the last Han ship docked, the neutron star entered its final collapse phase. All engines full, Min ordered. Get us out of here. The Leviathan, heavy with its precious cargo of 2 civilizations, pushed away from danger as space itself seemed to tear behind them. 2 weeks after the rescue, the Leviathan approached Earth orbit. It moved more slowly than usual, its massive engines working harder to propel the ship and its unexpected passengers. Beside the human warship, 3 Han vessels flew in formation. Their sleek hulls decorated with new markings that the Han had explained were symbols of alliance and gratitude. Captain Min stood in the ship's largest observation lounge, which had been temporarily converted into a meeting space suitable for both humans and Han. The view of Earth growing larger in the window filled her with a sense of completion. When they had left, they were seeking unknown aliens. Now they were returning with friends. "It is very blue," observed Coordinator Yu, who stood beside her. The Han leader's exoskeleton gleamed under the room's lights. "Much like our home world was before the Great Drought forced us to become spacefaring." "You'll have to tell us that story sometime," Min replied. "There's so much we still don't know about each other." Yu's mandibles clicked softly. "Indeed, though I believe we have learnt the most important thing already." The door slid open, and Commander Rhee entered with Dr. Bay and Security Chief Park. Behind them came several other Han officials, their multiple limbs moving with the fluid grace that humans were still getting used to. "Earth Defense Command has acknowledged our approach," Rhee reported. "They're surprised by our company." Min smiled slightly. "I imagine they are." "The Han Council has also sent their response," added one of the alien officials. "They are dispatching diplomatic vessels to Earth. They are most eager to meet the species that turned weapons compartments into refugee shelters." Security Chief Park, who had opposed that very decision, shifted uncomfortably but remained silent. The past 2 weeks had changed him, as it had changed many of the crew. Living alongside the Han, helping them recover from their ordeal, had built bridges that no official first contact protocol could have achieved. "Captain," Coordinator Yu said, turning fully toward Min, "before we reach your world, there is something the Han Collective wishes to share with you." You gestured to one of the other Han, who stepped forward carrying a small device. The alien activated it, and a holographic display appeared above the table. "This is the Galactic Council," Yu explained, as the image showed a star map with 27 points of light connected by lines. 27 spacefaring civilizations united in peaceful cooperation and knowledge sharing. Min stared at the map in wonder. "There are so many." "Yes, some have traveled the stars for thousands of your years. Others are newer to space like yourselves." Yu's compound eyes shimmered with changing colors that Dr. Bay had told them indicated positive emotions. "The Han Collective serves as one of the senior members of the Council. It is our duty to identify and evaluate emerging civilizations." Dr. Bay leaned forward excitedly. "You were testing us?" "Observing," corrected Yu. "The Han have observed 17 first contacts. We watch, we learn, we evaluate. When the time is right, we make ourselves known." "And then?" asked Min. "Then we decide whether to sponsor the new species for Council membership." Yu's upper limbs made a gesture they had come to recognize as formal respect. "The Han Collective has already voted. We wish to sponsor Earth." The humans in the room exchanged glances of shock and excitement. "But why?" asked Security Chief Park, speaking for the first time. "Our history is filled with conflict. We arrived in a warship. Surely there are more peaceful species worthy of this honor." Yu turned toward him. "Chief Park, the Council does not seek perfection. It seeks potential. When we first detected your warship approaching, many counseled caution. Your broadcasts had shown us a species prone to division and conflict." The Han leader moved to the window, gazing at the Earth. "Yet when crisis came, you turned your greatest weapon of war into an instrument of rescue without hesitation. You risked your own safety for strangers. This is rare and precious in the galaxy." Min processed this information. "So our seat on this council is because we saved your people?" "No," Yu replied. "It is because of how you saved them, without demand for reward, without calculation of advantage, simply because you could." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity's first step into a larger community would Not be because of their technology or military might, but because of compassion. Dr. Bay broke the silence. When will the council representatives arrive? They are already on their way, answered Yu. But there is more news we must share. Another Han stepped forward, this one wearing different markings. Our long-range sensors have detected signals from 3 other directions in your galaxy. It seems your rescue of our colony has not gone unnoticed. Other council members are curious about the species that impressed the Han. Min looked around at her crew, then back to Earth growing larger in the viewport. The ship that had never fired a shot in anger had accomplished a greater victory than its designers could have imagined. We should prepare, she said quietly. It seems our journey is just beginning. Outside the window, Earth turned slowly against the blackness of space, a small blue world on the threshold of a vast, complex galactic community it never knew existed. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please, double-check responses.